All right, let's get started. My name is Anthony Medaglia. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at V1 Sports. We're back with another educational webinar, and today I'm excited to be joined once again by online growth expert Dan Heaney. Welcome back, Dan. Before we dive in, just a couple quick housekeeping notes. If you're not familiar with V1 Sports or this webinar series, V1 has been supporting golf coaches for over 30 years. More recently, we've expanded our focus to helping coaches grow their business. With the help of partners like Dan, we're bringing you best practices and proven strategies for leveraging tools like V1 to hit your revenue goals. Please take a moment now to locate the chat function within the webinar. That's where you can drop your questions at any time for Dan, and we'll make sure that we get to them by the end of this webinar, okay? We're really excited to run it back today and dig into AI and how you can leverage it to grow your coaching business. So without further ado, we'll welcome you back, Dan. Thanks again.
Excited to be back on. We got a good one today where we're really going to be focused on using practical application of AI and how to use this in your business to grow, ultimately to get more students, make more money, and save yourself a lot of time in the process of doing that. So not too much presentation today, but I will share my screen and go through with you guys some basics here. But we talked a lot about last time. If you weren't on live with us, go check that one out because it's kind of the foundation for AI. And it's just understanding different use cases that would make a lot of sense for golf coaches to look into. So definitely go check out that previous webinar if you weren't on last month. Now we're going to dive into practical application of how to do some of the things. And I want to share my screen a lot today and really demonstrate what it would look like to practice the art of using AI in your actual coaching business. So just setting the foundation of what we're going to go over today. And you can see I left all the goofy AI images this week too. Didn't adjust any of them. This is what AI just came up with on its own. So this guy wearing a quirky suit, swinging a golf club, completely AI. It's not perfect yet, but I'll show you ways that you can use even the image generation side of AI in social media content and stuff like that too. But setting the foundation here of what we're going to be covering, really there's two primary functions that I think AI will fill for a golf coach that's looking to grow their business, especially when it comes to online or bridging the gap between in-person and online. There's time saving potential with using AI and automation. And then there's also revenue generation potential with using AI and automation. And both of those things are huge because obviously if you can get back more hours, you can put that towards revenue generating activities in the business. And if you can utilize AI to get yourself out there more online, to come up with premium packaging to deliver personalized communication at scale, to be able to reach more people through social media, all of that will ultimately lead to more students and more revenue for the business overall and more personal income for you as well too. So as I said, today is really about live demonstrations of some of the ideas that we covered last time and practically how you can actually use AI inside of your business and some of the different softwares that are available for you to do that. And I'll start really simple ones. I'll start with cheap versions of AI that will work for you guys. And we'll expand from there to some different paid softwares that I like and ways that you could get even deeper into this. One of the biggest things that AI can potentially help you with as a coach is content creation. But I want to make sure that if you're going to use AI for content creation, there's a way that you strategically do it so that you don't sound like AI. The reality of content creation on the internet right now is that there's more content produced now than there ever was before. And that is only going to go up. And AI is making that to where it's even more accessible. And people are pumping out thousands and thousands of creatives and pieces of content that are really AI slop. So we don't want your content to become that. So I'll show you how to use it the right way in order to not just reproduce, regurgitate crappy AI content that gets put out over and over again and just makes it to where people don't pay attention to you or don't want to actually. All right, perfect. Cool. So what you're seeing here is ChatGPT. Most of you are probably familiar at this point and probably have an account, whether it's pro or free. It doesn't really matter. You can do basically everything that you need to do with a completely free account on ChatGPT. And the reason I use this as a first example, it's not the best at doing everything. There are certain things that ChatGPT is better at than other AIs. And then there are other AIs that will do certain components of what we're looking to do better than ChatGPT will. But it's the simplest to get going with. It's the most popular. It's the most amount of information out there, and you can get started and use most of its functionality completely for free. What you see here on the screen is a custom GPT. I dove into this a little bit last week, but I really want to demonstrate the entire process here of using ChatGPT to come up with a content creation plan for you as a golf coach. Now, like I said, you don't want to just open up ChatGPT, start a new chat, and say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm a golf coach, make me golf content, go. You're not giving the AI any context. You're not giving it a role. And ultimately, the product that you're going to get back is not going to be very good, because what it is doing is saying, okay, like that was a very broad prompt, not very specific. I'm just going to use my knowledge base of everything that's on the internet that's public knowledge, and I'll just throw some content together for a golf coach from that. What's a better practice to do is to give ChatGPT or any other AI model context or information about you as a coach, the type of players that you work with, your history, your background, the style of coach or system that you use. Feed it as much information and data as you possibly can. And when you do that, it will come up with better output. So a simple way to do this inside of ChatGPT is actually to create a project. Right here, you'll see project. If you create a new project, and I'll just do a demo one here. When you're inside of this project, you can drop files, information, data, give it context, information, and insight into you as a coach. So you can put anything that you want in here. It will then basically like save this as a file that you can come back to over and over again. And now it's trained. It has the information to make better, to use your prompts more effectively and actually output better quality content or information on the back end. So I would do that for anything that I was trying to create, is just give it more context. That's essentially what I've done by creating a custom GPT, which you see here. That's another way of doing it. It's just a little bit more complex than doing a new project. So if you're new to AI, just go into ChatGPT, new project, feed it all the information, and then give it a role or a task. Make each project specific to the thing you want it to do. So if you want to create content, make a content creation project. And I would even go as far as saying like, okay, I'm going to have an Instagram content project. I'm going to have a YouTube content project. I'm going to have an email copywriter project. And all of those, I would feed the same background information or data, but then I would prompt it to act differently, right? The example might be like, hey, you're a professional social media marketing expert with 16 years of experience doing, producing Instagram content, right? If there's 16 years of experience, they probably have been doing Instagram since it first came out, but you get the point, right? Like we want to give it an actual role inside of this. So I've done that with this custom GPT, which any of you guys, if you message me on Instagram after the training, I'll send this over to you and you can use it. It's trained on creating Instagram content. And this is around short form stuff. So this would also work for TikTok, but Instagram content for golf instruction. And it's fed a lot of information around what works best to do that. But if I went into this custom GPT or a new project, and I then gave it, because it has some context, if I give it a simple prompt, which it didn't copy, hold on one second. So I'm just going to give it a very simple prompt here, nothing complicated. And this only works, again, because I have trained it in the background. So a very simple one, right? Create a 4-week content plan for a golf coach looking to grow their Instagram account and get more leads for online instruction. That prompt wouldn't work if you just went into a blank GPT and sent it, because, again, it doesn't have the information and background. It hasn't been trained. It'll give you something that would be okay. It'd be better than nothing, but it wouldn't be the best plan of of action moving forward when it comes to creating content that makes you stand out. So that's all I gave it. Now, because it's trained, it pumps out this. All right, weekly structure is going to be 3 reels, 1 carousel, 2 stories. These are call to action stories. I would do more stories than that on a daily. And then actual call to action post inside of our Instagram content strategy. And then it starts to even give me the ideas. Week 1, these different ideas. Week 2, week 3, week 4, and gives me some extra strategy notes around those. So now once I have a general content plan, you don't necessarily have to just run with this. So the power in AI is actually going back and forth with it. Spending some time making changes, asking for changes as you go. This is just a suggestion without much context to me as a coach, because this custom GPT is not coach specific. It is just industry specific. So what you would need to do is feed it more information or data about you as well as an instructor, but it puts together good hooks for you, right? So reel 1, stop doing this in your backswing. It's costing you 10 strokes. Now I might want to change that. Maybe that's not exactly what I want to say, but the format for the hook is specifically designed to perform well on a platform like Instagram. Number 2, why do pros compress the ball so effortlessly? The answer will surprise you. A lot of these, we're using psychological triggers, and you can see it's telling you which one it's using: fear, curiosity, desire. Want to add 20 plus yards to your drives? Try this one setup tweak. I'd say now inside of this, I have a general plan. All right, 3 videos a week, a carousel post, call to action stories, a call to action post for every single week. I can dive in deeper. Maybe I like one of these. Let me just pick one. It's a great one for showcasing results. I would do a lot of these as a coach to prove credibility and show client transformations. But let's say I wanted to roll with this one. All right, so I like that one, and I'm just going to tell it, let's make this post. I didn't need that. I know I put a question mark. I didn't need that. Cool, but it's now going to script this entire thing out for me. The hook is first 3 seconds. This is what you would want to say right off the bat. Don't have anything before it. There's no, hey, everybody, welcome. None of that. We really just want to go straight into this line. A student gained 27 yards in 2 weeks. And there's a text overlay suggestion as well. Before, he was losing power because of, insert your thing here. We fixed his blank and focus on this one key move. Ball speed up 7 miles per hour, carry up 27 yards. All right, so this is a very specific theme or format to writing these reels that I've trained this GPT on to help you produce better content. So a lot of you probably have these stories. You have great information. You have stuff that would be very useful for the golfer that you're looking to attract online, but you're not sure how to format that on social media to get better results, to get more exposure, more views, and more people actually engaging and commenting on your stuff. And that's what AI will help you to do. It can very easily take examples and training and then be used to quickly take your expertise, turn it into a format that performs well on the platform. So it just levels up your content by understanding how to structure this stuff a little bit better. So it's a simple example of using ChatGPT to kind of start to brainstorm. Again, I wouldn't just do this and then take it word for word, take it exactly what it spits out. I would massage this. I would play with this to make it in your voice and specific to your brand. But this has made the content creation process so much faster. It will help me with the ideation on ideas. So that's another thing that I love doing is, hey, I want 10 ideas on fixing a slice for content. And this is not even a good prompt at all, but I'm just throwing it in there to see what you can get back. And it's pretty amazing what it will be able to do. Mine expired, but that's because I'm using the custom GPT, and you do need to upgrade if you want a custom GPT. But you get the idea. If I put that in there, it's going to give me a bunch of options and ideas. I use some other AI tools to help out with this, which is pretty cool. That I prefer to pay for those options because they have ChatGPT inside of it rather than individually paying for everyone. It's sort of like your TV subscriptions where we all have like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, Hulu, keep going. Death by 1,000 rebills every month. So that's where I try to streamline this inside of one platform, which I'll show you here in a bit. But you guys kind of get the idea with ChatGPT. It's a great place to ideate, come up with a plan, and just help you to execute so much faster. So if you struggle with ideas, not sure what to put out on social media, this is a great place to start. Next up, I want to dive into communication examples. I'm going to show another system that I use. So I use a CRM called Go High Level, GHL. There's many of them out there. If you don't have some sort of client relationship management software, email marketing software, I would highly recommend getting one. Some people will start with the simplest and easiest platform for a lot of coaches would be MailChimp. It's one of the cheaper options, one of the simplest to just get started and start sending emails right away. I use this, which is called Go High Level, because it has everything that I would need on the back end of my business, but it can be complex if you don't know how to use it. There's many platforms that you could use. I would just find one that works for you and start collecting those emails. We were just talking about a story before we jumped on where a coach was primarily filling his online book of business by just doing a better job of using AI to write emails, to regularly send communication to his email list of past and present students to get them re-engaged. That's another powerful way to use automation and AI. I hear this all the time from coaches that don't spend much time writing, and why would you? I don't know what to put in emails, don't know how frequent I should send, and it's tough for me to come up with the ideas, the concepts, and it just feels like it's not time well spent, and I can never regularly send emails to my list. This is one of the easiest, biggest levers that you can pull right away is compile all of the data, all of the emails from current, past students, clients, leads, just pull them from everywhere, put them into an email list, and use AI to help you write email sequences and regular email newsletters to your list. The, again, platform I use here called Go High Level, it allows me to do that. It allows me to plan out social media if I wanted to and post stuff on a schedule. It allows for me to come in here and write emails, which, I try to do very frequently. It's one of the best ways that I get clients, get people onto my email list and regularly send emails and send offers in those emails. So if you're not using that, 100% would. What I do want to show you guys for writing the email content, because again, what I would probably not do is just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, write me an email sequence or write me an email for today. That's going to sound like AI, not be very personal to you, and won't perform all that well. It's better than not doing email at all. So that is step one. Just go to AI and allow it to help you create more email content. But what I like even more is this software called Poppy. Bring that one up. What you can see here is it's like an endless whiteboard that incorporates AI into it. So I'm going to show you guys how cool this is and how crazy it is. Anyone on live, can you pop in the chat a Instagram account of a golf coach whose content you like, who you think does a good job with content creation? It can be anyone. And I don't know if I can 100% see the chat. So Anthony, you might have to help me out with any suggestions. If we get a suggestion on a cool, perfect. So Quixote Performance Center. All right, let's look that up. Let me see. All right, I'm going to find them. Cool. So if I liked this account and I liked some of the stuff that they were doing, so I don't have to like unshare, reshare a whole bunch of times. I'm doing this part off screen. I'm looking at their Instagram account. And what I can do is go into their individual posts or reels and copy the URL for that post or reel, come back over here to my Poppy board and paste it in. So this was literally, I went to Instagram, found a post that I liked. I copied the URL for that post, pasted it into this Poppy window. Now, what you see Poppy is doing is it's transcribing that video. So it's getting anything that was said during it and pulling it in. I can do this with as many of these as I want. So I'm going to pull another one in here, paste that. I just got to go to work for a little bit just to get the information from it. But look, you see, pulled in a reel from that account, that specific post. I'm going to let it do its thing on the second one. What I can do from here is this little chat window. This is an AI chat. And what Poppy has, and this is why I pay for Poppy instead of all the individual platforms, is it has a lot of different AI models inside of it. So you see it has GPT, it has Claude, it has Gemini, Grok. Right? So there's a lot of options you can pick from. Now, what I do is I just connect these two posts and I can say to it, I can use any of these models. We'll just use GPT for now. Can you give me insights into why these posts performed well? Awesome. So it's going to now be able to assess these posts based on me just connecting them to the chat and give me information about them. I'm going to pull another example. This is someone that I think does really well with Instagram, and I'll show that here as well too. But this is cool. Look, Poppy's doing its thing. It says, here are some key reasons these two reels likely perform well. Cross-cutting performance drivers across both reels. So it's saying like the way that it was edited and pulling different things into the swing or into the video at different times. So the cutting behind it, the editing, clear problem solution arc, social proof and credibility, tech as a trust accelerator, high contrast, satisfying audio, rewatch and save triggers, community signals. So it's giving me a full comprehensive breakdown on why these might have performed well. Now, if I wanted to, what I could also do is attach information about me and my brand. So I'm just going to pull, I'll use this. This doesn't make any sense, but just to show you guys that you can pull in a file. This is the presentation from today. So if I pulled this in, let's just say it was a document about my brand, information about me as a coach, or if I went to my own website and just dropped the website in here, which you can 100% do by using this, drop your website in. It can pull the information from your website and have tons of data on you as a coach. Then you attach it to the chat, and then you just ask it to help you create a similar reel, but based on your brand, right? And it'll do that for you. So it's pretty crazy, these different AI platforms and opportunities that we have. I could do this exact same thing for emails. Now, the way I would do this for email inside of Poppy is, let's say I wanted to use this presentation as a lead magnet. So AI for golf coaches. So for my business, I wanted to put this training out there and get people to comment on Instagram in order to get access to this training, and then give me their email to become a lead or just to start a conversation. I can attach this information over here, and I'm just going to ask it so to make sure it understands and has the information about it. Give me a breakdown on the attached presentation. All right, so it's going to do its thing. Now, once it has this information and I understand it can see it and it gives me this breakdown, next thing I'll ask is I want to transform this into a lead magnet to attract golf coaches, right? And then I can say, can you write a 5-email follow-up sequence once they opt in? And it's going to do its thing. Now I want to give it more information than this because all it has right now is a presentation, right? And I want to give it more data about me. I want to give it data about my offer so it understands that too. What am I ultimately trying to get people to sign up for? But it will take that presentation and in a second, it'll spit out 5 follow-up email sequence. Email 1, deliver. It goes through that whole thing. Email 2 gives me that. Email 3. And it's all based on the data and information it's pulling from this lead magnet. So now it has context and it understands what it's supposed to be writing about. Again, it would do a better job with the offer email, which is the last email, if I gave it my actual offer, which I could do. So it's pretty insane what's out there and we're able to utilize when it comes to AI nowadays to help us with these different things and communication with our clients. A nice thing that you could do, whether you're using this software in Poppy or ChatGPT, is you can also upload data about your students. So if you're tracking statistics using things like strokes gained, obviously the different platforms that you might use, whether that's in Arcos, but what you can do inside of any of these AI platforms, whether that's Poppy, ChatGPT, or another one, feed it data on a student, then allow the AI to go through that data at speed and come back to you with information. So whether that is like specific things that you want to find inside of the data set, a lot of the strokes gained platforms will give you, small versions of this, right? Like when I used to use Arcos, obviously they would give me, hey, this is where you're weak. This is probably some suggestions for practice. Is that perfect? Probably not. And it may not be exactly what you would suggest. So that's why taking the data, the information, the stats, uploading it to AI, and then having it do a comprehensive analysis. And then you can ask it anything you want about the data. Hey, I need you to find me how many times in the last 6 rounds my client 3-putted from outside of 20 feet. And it will scour the data to find that information. So it can really help with that process of analyzing data from students a lot faster. So it's not just about swing analysis, which is really popular right now. Everybody trying to come up with the AI swing analysis apps that would actually work. Instead, I would use it for in-depth game analysis, statistic analysis that would allow for you to customize a plan and really help them improve even faster by having these insights behind the data. And you no longer have to do that manually, which is super powerful. So let's jump. So this is what I was just talking about, the data analysis. Also, using platforms like V1, you can use AI inside of the platforms to be able to come up with custom practice plans and custom follow-ups for people that do lessons with you via that app. So it's really powerful to where now you don't necessarily have to spend 30 minutes to an hour coming up with this comprehensive game plan for a student after a lesson. You can use AI to facilitate that experience so much faster because they can write the initial draft and then you just have to edit it and then send it off to them. hey, based on our lesson today, this is what we talked about. These are the things that we're going to focus on. This is how often you need to practice, so on and so forth. Now, still add your touch, your expertise to that, but it's going to speed up that workflow immensely. We talked a bit, I already went into this a little bit in analysis and data. Coming back into a bit more content ideas and ways that you can use this to produce even more content. One is I don't want to get too crazy into the stuff that AI is producing and coming out with now. And 6 months from now, it's going to be wild what it's able to do. But some of the simple things that you can do inside of social media, beyond just coming up with the ideas and creating different scripts, is to help with the visuals that you want to produce for the social media content. These visuals can be both images and also videos. Now, are videos in the golf space made by AI the best right now? No, there's still a lot of glitchy stuff that happens with the physics of a golf swing and AI not quite understanding that. But when it comes to B-roll content, overlays, and graphics, it's starting to do a pretty darn good job. And this image that you see right here on this slide, this was not possible 3 months ago, even probably a month ago, with the way that AI image platforms worked. It would not have looked this good. This actually looks like a real golf swing with decent positions, right? Before, this club would have been all over the place and funky, like some of these other ones, like this one where he looks like he's twisted around, or this one being weird, not the right physics or mechanics there. But this one looks like a real golf swing, which is pretty powerful. It also is getting good at words and producing words on graphics like this that are clear and not misspelled. So you're able to produce content inside of things like ChatGPT and just use its image functionality to come up with social media posts. Is our image post the best style of post to use right now? They're not, but it's better than not putting out anything, and they can work well for call to action content. That's just another huge way. I would keep this on your radar over the next 3 to 6 months on how to use AI to actually help with the production of the visuals that will go into social media content. It can also help with branding materials. This is pretty wild, but if I'm going to pull this up for you guys as well too. If I needed a website in today's world, I can create a website by prompting AI, just talking to it like it's a human being, like ChatGPT. And I can have a fully functional, great looking website in a couple minutes without needing a developer. And that's pretty wild that this is available now. And then we can do things like this. I'm just going to pull and try to show you guys an example. So before, you had to be really tech savvy with being able to produce these things. Or you had to understand how to use a landing page builder like the Go High Level I showed you earlier. But now I made this landing page in a couple minutes. And there it is. So all I did was prompt it, right? And you can even come up with the prompt for the website based on talking with ChatGPT to then feed it to something like Lovable. This isn't the only one that does that. It's just a very easy, popular one. And then I can just prompt it through changing this however I want. All right, so this is a landing page that was built for conversion to sell a product, but you could do this with any website, anything like that. Built in minutes, all with AI. And I can edit that however I want to, right? So I could tell it anything, change the orange color to yellow. It's going to take a second because it has to reproduce the code on the back end. But that's all that I have to say. And it will take all of this orange and make it yellow across the entire page automatically for me, instead of waiting for that to finish, because it's probably going to take a bit. The other thing that I would use AI pretty heavily for in your golf coaching business, this could be for in person, but it really starts to make a difference when it comes to online, is producing resources for potential students, creating what I call lead magnets, free resources, freebies that you can give away to generate leads inside of your business. We already talked about the email, we talked about the social media, but actually producing content that things that your clients would actually find useful, whether that is workbooks, guides, statistic tracking sheets, whatever you need to produce to help your students get better, you can produce that pretty fast using AI. So whether we do that right now or after Q&A, I would highly recommend that you take one of the things that I showed today, go out after this webinar ends and try it out. Practice actually creating a social media plan, practice creating the hooks, practice creating the scripts for the content, practice creating an email sequence. Try to set that up in an email autoresponder. Create the lead magnet using AI that would get somebody onto the email list to then follow up with them. Come up with a resource for a student using AI. Take a lesson that you just did, plug it into AI, give it some context, and then ask it to produce something from that. Another cool way that you can do that is you can take a lesson recap, put it into AI, and then ask it to create a piece of content based on that information. So you don't necessarily have to create anything new. You just use AI to take the things that you're already doing, take the knowledge that's up here, and put it into a format that can be useful for promoting your business and getting more opportunities. I want to open it up for questions here in a second, but just things to remember when working with AI. Prompting's huge. Giving it context is huge. And have conversations with it, work through it. Don't accept that the very first thing that you ask it to do is going to be perfect. Give it feedback, ask it to change things, make iteration, add prompts, layer these prompts, ask it to do multiple things and refine it over time. You can come up with personalized styles through this prompting process and just by giving it more information over time. So it gets to know you, your brand, the type of output that you want to put out there, what you stand for, what you stand against, and then it can create a style for everything that you do around that. And then make sure you quality control all AI that is produced. Read through it. Don't just take it at face value and put it out there. Because remember, everything that we do is going to be a representation of your brand. And you want all of this to feel still with a human touch. It is still personalized. Like you want to have some control over this, some oversight over the stuff that AI is producing. So it doesn't create what I talked about earlier, that AI slop. But those are just a few ideas for you guys to get started, what it would look like to produce these different things using AI. We'll open it up for a bunch of Q&A now, Anthony, just to see if anyone wants to dive in deeper to any one of these areas of concepts.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'll take this off here.
As we get those fired up here, it's interesting, right? We're in the world of golf improvement, and a lot of our coaches, when they learn that we have AI within V1, they start asking, okay, well, so it's going to give swing faults, or it's going to give, drills to improve the swing based on the video. I said, no, we're not living in that world. It's the other things, right? The things in regards to business operations, optimizing your leads and your contacts, improving your engagement. Majority of the folks on this webinar today have our AI lesson follow-ups built into their app. It's an opt-in, and they're using it every single day. And whether that call to action is just to have some accountability, ask questions if you need any, or book another lesson, the tools are built for your goals. So don't ever feel like you don't have control over those, especially how we're integrating our AI into the software that they have today. So I just want to put that piece in there. Pretty important. Let's see. We got a question here from John. What sort of costs are we looking at for paid Chat GPT access?
It's $20 a month. That's it. So it's not much at all. And that there's a lot more functionality that we didn't even go over to, which is like it can do what's called deep research. So if you wanted ChatGPT to dive into a complete psychological breakdown of your ideal client profile or avatar who you were looking to attract, find information about the golf market as a whole, research upcoming and new golf tech that you might want to be aware of, any one of these topics, it can do deep research on the internet. It has access to everything that's public knowledge, and then provide you a report on that, which is a really cool feature too. So yeah, it's ways of staying on top of new trends, new information. Yeah, it's $20 a month, so it's not a lot.
Andre says, amazing presentation. How do you add the code created by the AI to your current website?
So it depends on where your current website is hosted and what part of like the AI created stuff you're trying to add. It's like the example, I think we're probably talking about like the landing page or website builder. If I wanted to get that to be an actual website that was published and live, yeah, there are things that you have to do once it is built, because you don't want to just use the app that developed the thing. You want to pull it into whatever platform's hosting your website currently. So without getting like too techie on how you do that stuff, the simplest, and it's kind of the funniest way to do this, is actually just ask AI and they will tell you exactly how to do it. So that's what I would do, is like have the AI walk you through the steps of getting it live and whatever you're hosting. So yeah, if it's like, hey, I created this landing page, I want it now to work with my URL and I host that on Squarespace, how do I do this most effectively? It will tell you. And then based on if you're using Squarespace, if it needs a specific snippet of code to go into a specific area to be live, it'll just tell you, hey, take this code, put it in here, and then set it live, and it should work. Now, there might be some errors in that process. So if you encounter any, again, you just re-ask the AI and have it help you walk through those.
If I'm feeling overwhelmed, this is from Leslie. If I'm feeling overwhelmed by all the possibilities, can you give me one simple place to start with using AI?
Yeah, it depends on what you need most. I would say the simplest place to start is communicate with your current list. So if you have emails, current and past students, anyone that's done anything with you before in the past, filled out any kind of contact form, I would just use AI to start sending them emails, regular communication through email. That is the simplest. So if you feel overwhelmed by producing email content and having to write that, just leverage AI to help you do that. And then if you're more regularly following up with people and putting offers in front of them, you will grow your business through doing that.
If I was going to use AI for emails, is it better to use ChatGPT or the AI assistant offered by MailChimp?
I have a hunch that I have not used the AI assistant by MailChimp. I have a strong suspicion that it's not very good. It might be, I don't know. I'd have to test it and see the quality of the content that it was putting out inside of those emails. But if you can't feed that AI assistant a lot of data and information about your business, it's unlikely it will be able to write good emails for you, because that context really matters. That's kind of everything for the AI to understand your tone, your personality, your brand, who you work with, what style of teaching you utilize. Like all of those things are important for writing emails that will do well. So I'm a fan of using a platform where you can put a bunch of data in so that the AI does a better job with the outputs. So like I showed, you can do that in ChatGPT, or you could use something, it's a little more expensive, but something like Poppy AI to feed it all the information and then have it right for you. The MailChimp does probably have information about, good headlines for opening emails because they have a lot of data on that. I'd imagine like structurally it's not bad. It's just that it doesn't have the information about you to make it more personal.
Yeah. And if I may add, just because we're on the topic, within V1, the AI lesson follow-ups, the way that we build the AI is based off of history of that coach. So there'll be a question bank essentially of learning who you are and what's your teaching tone and what are your goals and how do you communicate with your students. And then we'll also look at the video analysis that you've sent to your students, and we will build that voice that's better framed to you, right? Versus a generic AI that loses that personality in regards to your communication. We don't want that. We want to make sure that everything's being leveraged to a point where it's appropriate, but there's comfortability on the coach's side too, so they don't think this thing is kind of going off on its own, offering opportunities or following up or whatever that may be. It's latched to you based on the data that we're building it with. So just want to add that to that point.
Awesome. I can hear you. My camera went in and out again.
No, you're
But
good.
we're good.
I think we have maybe another question. We'll check in here real quick. Let's see. I don't see anything here in the chat. I think that's it for us, Dan. I think so. Obviously, unbelievable presentation. AI is definitely buzzy, but it's practical. We're using it every day, right? So, especially within growing your business and working with your students and growing that opportunity. So, is there any parting words or anything that you think if people are really trying to get into the AI aspect and utilizing it with their everyday operations or what have you? Yeah, where's the best start that we can go? And obviously we have some things at V1 that we can provide. If you go to the URL, you can actually demo our AI to test it out and learn more about what we're offering. But anything just to leave these folks with in regards to implementing it kind of on that first step?
Yeah, start simple, start small. What's the smallest, most effective thing that you can do right now inside of a system that you already have created to just leverage the AI to make that system a little bit more efficient or faster? So I think, like Victor would be a great way to do that because it's like you're already using this app, this software. So why not test how AI inside of that platform can make everything that you do more efficient? Similarly, again, like if we go back to like, all right, what are you already doing? If you're already producing content to try to grow your brand online, all right, let's see if we can use AI to make that process faster, whether that's in the ideation or the actual creation of the content. Will it speed up that workflow? So take an existing workflow in your business, implement a simple system using AI to make that faster and more efficient. That's where I would start, rather than don't overcomplicate it and try new things with it. Use it to make current practices better or more efficient.
Great. Well, awesome. Appreciate it again, Dan. For those of you who are on the call, feel free to register for our next webinar. We'll be holding it the first Monday of next month. TBD on the subject, but I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere within the realm of AI and growing your business, obviously. So if you have any questions for us, feel free to reach out to Dan directly or our team at sales@v1sports.com. We'll make sure that we can answer your questions. Thanks again.